Another really emotional thing that happened in the past couple of days, and it happened kind of out of nowhere. You know, nobody was really expecting this, and it was really sad news. And that is the official breakup of Daft Punk. So yeah, the other day, Monday, we got a big news break in the morning that I saw on the internet, on Twitter, and it was broke that Daft Punk was breaking up. The legendary electronic French house duo, Daft Punk, they're calling it a quits. They're giving up. They're breaking up. And yeah, it's this one hit me pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie, because I absolutely love Daft Punk. They're one of my favorite electronic entities ever. I mean, just pioneers of the genre through and through. I mean, what those guys were able to do over their 20 plus years in the business is nothing short of incredible. I mean, their ability to blend jazz music with electronic music and pop music was so seamless. And they have just so many classic hits and projects. I mean, from Homework to Discovery to even Alive and Random Access Memories, which is my favorite project of theirs personally. And I'll talk about it. But I mean, these guys, they really did help pioneer the modern electronic sound, and especially from progressive house with a lot of synth production and sample production. I mean, these guys, One More Time has one of the best samples you'll ever hear in electronic music. I mean, and there's a video that I found that breaks it down, and it's pretty brilliant to see how they could, you know, extrapolate those mini samples of a song that are not even connected and then mesh them into a whole new melody. It's brilliant. And these guys did this all the time. And they did, and nobody was able to do it better. And from the vocal sampling, I mean, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger is so catchy and fun and bouncy. And I mean, without it, we wouldn't have the legendary Kanye West song that was sampled it. And then you have, you know, One More Time, which is one of the most incredibly fun and bouncy progressive house songs you'll ever hear. And I wish I could hear it in concert, because man, it hits. And then everything from Around the World, which is another one of my favorites by them. Super, super, super ahead of its time. I mean, it sounds like a pop house song that you would hear in 2020, 2021. You know, if it would have come out yesterday, I would have believed you. But it came out in 1997, you know, when I was born. So it's truly amazing that these guys were able to have the run they had for as long as they had on their terms. You know, they weren't forced to drop music. They were never, you know, just dropping music for the sake of dropping. They dropped music when they perfected it. You know, they seemed like perfectionists, and you could just tell in the way that they made music that there was a certain level of attention to detail that you usually don't get in electronic music, that these guys just had and brought to the genre that you're never going to see again. And it's a shame. But at the same time, if they're really done and uninspired and want to move on with their lives, then it's better that way, honestly. You know, don't make music that your heart's not in. Don't make anything that your heart's not in. That's kind of always been my MO and my motto, is like, don't make stuff that you don't care about anymore. And when you lose that interest, when you lose that drive, quit and find something new. That's my opinion, because you're wasting your time, and you're wasting your fans' time as well. Making music or making movies or making shows or comics or books or whatever. You're wasting your audience's time if you're not giving your full attention to it. Not even that, just not even necessarily full attention, but just if you're not passionate about it, if you don't care about it anymore. And that's what, you know, maybe that's what they felt like. I don't know, but because we haven't really gotten an explanation for why they broke up, but they just broke up. They were done. And I mean, that's honestly fine. I mean, they did release that video, which I found to be really heartwarming, but and heartbreaking. But it is sad because, like I said, I love Daft Punk. I love their music, and I love the impact that they've had on electronic music. I mean, they are up there in the Mount Rushmore for sure. You got to put them up there. I mean, for the longevity, for the big hits that they contributed to. I mean, huge radio hits, like I mentioned, Around the World and Get Lucky and One More Time and Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger and Technologic and was it Aerodynamic, I think is the other one that I really like. But I mean, these guys, what can you say about them that hasn't already been said? They made some of the funkiest music you'll ever hear. And if I had to recommend a Daft Punk project, I would probably recommend Random Access Memories. I think it's the most accessible. And the thing I love about that album is they use a lot of real instruments. It's not as heavy on the electronic side as some of their prior work. And that's what I kind of liked about it. It felt very much like a, pop rock album in a sense with the, obviously a lot of the, Daft Punk robotic vocals that, are so popular with the group, and a lot of the electronic melodies throughout. But for the most part, it's just a super jazzy, fun, funky album. And that's what I love about it. And it won the Grammy for Best Album, which was huge for electronic music because I don't even know if that had ever been done before. Maybe it had, but it was a big moment for electronic music, as it kind of bursted on the scene in 2012, 2013, and Daft Punk were kind of like holding the genre's hand as they walked through the mainstream. And, like I said, they're legends. And if they ever come back together and do a reunion tour, I'll be there for that. Because that's one thing I'm the most upset about this whole situation is that I won't be able to ever see them in concert as of right now, which is sad because I love them. I love Daft Punk. I love their music. And they're going to be very missed in electronic music, that's for sure. So someone else will have to step into that void. And there's a lot of different personalities out there that can do it, but maybe not to the effectiveness as Daft Punk. And I love the mystique behind them, the aura, and like I said, how they made music on their own terms. They made things when they wanted to make them. They would take 5 to 10 years in between projects. Hey, take your time. Just make it good. Make it the best you can. That's all we ask as fans. But yeah, I hope Daft Punk gets back together. It's a shame because they're making a new Tron movie, and they made the score for Tron Legacy, and it is an incredible score. I really recommend you check it out. And that's another thing that sucks is that I wanted to see him score another movie because I love that synth production on that score. So yeah, we really want to see some more from Daft Punk. But we hadn't. Granted, it's crazy because I saw a meme that was like, Daft Punk, I'm inspired because Daft Punk decided after 8 years of not making an album to just call it a quit. 8 years since their last album, and they just say, yeah, we're done. It took them 8 years to figure out, I'm not really into this anymore. I want to do something else in my life, kind of thing. So I don't know. Like I said, they're going to be really missed, and it's a shame. But at the same time, don't be afraid to walk away when you've lost your passion, when you've lost your inspiration, when you no longer, care about your product. Why waste the people's time? Why waste, their lives, as they wait and clamor for a new album? Just be like, look, we're done. That's it. And I mean, it sucks. Trust me, especially as a fan. But you got to understand in a level of being like, all right, at least they're not wasting our time by making crappy stuff. At least they have enough, integrity to say, hey, anything we make beyond this point is going to be, half the quality of what we were going to release. Or what we have released. So we're better off just saving you the trouble of even listening to half-assed music and just calling it a quits, and you can enjoy our back catalog. And hey, I'm down with that. And that's the same thing like with Tarantino too, when he eventually calls it quits, it'll be the same thing of being like, you know what? He'll be like, you know what? Anything I make after this point will be just, my heart won't be in it the same way. You know, it'll be half the product that it was. So for that, I'm out. And hey, I got respect for that. So, you know, as much as it hurts, because it does, but nevertheless, I respect it.